All right. Are we ready?
I'm pretty good.
Ready? I noticed your
man.
hat.
He's fucking matching like a motherfucker.
The drip is insane.
Did you buy that hat shirt combo?
No. I bought them separately, and they really worked out.
Yeah, like perfectly. Yeah.
Usually I'm the one that matches. You know, I got the outfits all picked out, but
I just roll out of bed, throw something on. Yeah.
But you do it so nicely,
Thank
man.
you.
You know,
Thank you. I
can't
try.
even be mad at you. You know what I mean?
I try.
All right, gentlemen, let's do this. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your hosts, Nelson.
Ian.
Ed,
Whole squad is here. We're back in the building, starting a new year.
First official podcast where we're going to talk about new stuff for the new year.
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Took us a couple episodes to put everything together. You know?
Yeah, no,
And we
absolutely.
still missed other shows and,
Yeah.
and things, and we didn't even talk about games.
Shay keeps talking about the boys. He's
The
like,
boys.
"You guys don't talk about the boys."
Yeah. You know what? Let's do it for Shay. Let's do it for Shay.
I'll talk about the boys real quick.
All right. So the boys was good. All right. So
was
back
good,
on
yeah.
to 2023.
Yeah. It was okay. Yeah. You know, fuck it.
Listen, the show was good. They're trying to outdo themselves with gruesome every year. And they've already started talking about for 2023, they're like, this new season of The Boys is going to be the most disgusting things you've ever seen. And I'm just like, how does it get more disgusting than a man inside of someone else's dick hole and then exploding them from the inside? I'm curious as to what else they can think of that would be more disgusting than that.
They're just trying to push what they're allowed to do, essentially, is what it comes down to. Like, look, we're still getting views, so can we do more? And the network just says, yeah, go ahead.
You know what? But what's funny to me is I tolerate the disgusting because of the greatness of the show.
Yeah.
I'm not really going in looking for the disgusting. So
Yep.
if they said, okay, we kind of topped ourselves last season with the dick explosion.
Yeah.
Well, boys, let's get back into the storyline.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. So,
It's the same thing I said with the horror movies when it started getting into kind of just how gruesome can we make it versus like suspense and tension. We're like, give me a good thriller with suspense and tension versus just trying to make it out gore factor the other previous movie.
yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially what all those horror movies get into, you know?
Right.
Once it gets to like Friday the 13th, 6.
Yeah. They're like, what else can we tear apart?
Speaking of, we were just watching the Evil Dead Rise,
yeah,
which
Evil Dead Rise, yeah.
looks like they're ratcheting it up. It is not a comedy.
No, it's not.
No.
Gore fest.
I
Spooky
mean,
as fuck, I
Evil
will be
Dead
honest.
has always kind of had a nice hint of comedy, which for me, I enjoy a good comedy horror.
The originals, yeah. Like the ones
This
that Bruce
is
Campbell was in.
straight,
Yeah.
straight horror.
Well, it looks like it might be a follow-up to the, you know when they remade The Evil Dead a couple years ago?
Yes.
Like they remade it. It was newer.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell wasn't anywhere near it.
Right.
And like it was not funny.
Right.
They went like straight horror when they made it. And I think this might be continuing in that, just based off the Red Band trailer.
Oh, no, that trailer was
Disturbing.
pretty disturbing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some-
I mean,
disturbing
it's
shit.
it's a property they could definitely do something with, but I enjoyed that it was more of a comedy where it gave you those lighthearted moments and they're trying to kind of fight off an army. This looks like they're fighting off a singular person. You have the book in there, so I mean, it does.
Necronomicon is
Listen,
there, man.
It does link, but
Yeah.
it's definitely kind of in its own little universe versus what the other Evil Dead properties had been.
Yeah, but to be fair, that one person looks like a fucking albatross. It is an abomination. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to be locked in a room or a house or a mansion
Yeah.
or a city with that thing. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It looks good. I'm a horror movie guy, so I'll at least check it out.
Yeah.
You know? It's hard. It's a barren landscape, you know. Good horror movies.
If
It's
she was the
barren, like-
last woman on Earth, the last woman, Ian,
hey,
and it was your job to procreate, would the human race die?
now there'd be little demon babies. I'd somehow make it work.
She would be like, join me on the ceiling.
Probably flexible. Probably super flexible. I don't know. I probably wouldn't trust oral. You know,
Demon seed.
There'd be none of that for me.
What was it? The Grudge that started the flexible ghost thing, and now it's a staple for horror movies.
Yeah, like the contortion.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, no. I mean, if you want to go back to the original Exorcist.
Oh, that's right. I'm
Yes.
sorry,
Didn't it-
Exorcist.
she runs down the steps upside down and back.
But it's odd. It didn't really get.
That head turned the whole
It didn't
way
get
around.
popular until like the Grudge era. I think
The Exorcist probably scared the shit out of people,
and they
were like, we don't want to do this.
Yeah, they didn't touch it again for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And Freddy, I mean, in the opening scene or whatever of Nightmare on Elm Street, like his arms get real long.
Yeah, but I see that
each wall of the alley.
He gets all Mr. Fantastic on everybody.
I see that as less contortionist horror, body horror,
more body horror
than a weird Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Moment.
Well, actually, the other movie that had a lot of contortion and horror, Blades of Glory.
I thought you were going to say that one that just came out with Jamie Foxx and Snoop Dogg, the vampire
Will
one.
Ferrell in tights. That's scary.
Yeah, a little frightening.
A little frightening. Just a little frightening.
Just a tad, just a sprinkling.
I don't know,
sprinkling of horror.
I don't ever want to see that again. Another trailer we seen looks fantastic. Ant-Man, Quantummania.
They released another one.
And it looks great.
I say at this point, don't release any more footage. That's it. If you're not interested in the movie after this new trailer, go somewhere else.
Yeah. I don't want to know. I don't want to know anymore.
They did a pretty good job with the two trailers they released.
Kang looks like one of the best villains to come out of these last phase 4, phase 5 are we in right now?
I mean, he doesn't have much competition. Well, I mean, he does, but they underused.
I mean, he should really stick around as a longtime villain for the movies.
I hope so.
Kang is a motherfucker. If they give him his powers the way he's supposed to have them, he's supposed to make work out of Thanos like it's nothing.
Do you think they're gonna have to edit his bulge out, or is that just is that a Prince Namor problem?
Speculation at this point that they'll have to edit his. It looks like Kang has a cod piece in order to protect the audience's eyes from said bulge.
Hey, they don't call him the Conqueror.
Kang the slanging conqueror.
That's right. They'll definitely have to edit. What's his name? Wait, which one is the comedian? Oh my God, why can't I think of his name? Caddyshack. Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Okay, is he in Guardians of the Galaxy or is he in this one? Because he appeared in one of the trailers. Is that Guardians 3 or is that this one?
I'm not sure.
Bill Murray. I don't remember seeing him in Ant-Man, but he might have been in the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer.
I'm gonna figure that out.
That sounds about right, but
interesting.
I know they brought Bill in.
But I mean, they're showing Kang. He's using his powers, and he's using not just that. He's also like mentally trying to manipulate Ant-Man. He's putting him in a position where you're gonna help me, whether you want to or not.
You know what's kind of crazy?
Ant-Man the Wasp, Quantummania.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, he's in the movie.
He's probably got a small little part.
Yeah, but you know what looks crazy is that what if they made Bill Murray Dr. Doom?
Ooh.
No.
Listen, I haven't seen Bill Murray play anything like crazy methodical, but like
the only problem with that is Bill Murray is hard to wrangle for movies, notoriously. And if they want Dr. Doom, they're going to want to go younger because they're going to want to milk him for 10, 15 years at minimum.
Well, they asked him about, what did they ask him about? They asked him to do the new Space Jam movie. He was like, fuck that.
Listen, Bill Murray
he was right by saying fuck that.
He was.
But
the reality is Bill Murray doesn't move unless Bill Murray wants to move. He's in the position where he's like, fuck you, I don't have to.
Yeah, he's Bill Murray.
Like, you need to make it really interesting for me to show up because apparently he gives out his phone number, but he doesn't answer it anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know him to get him.
Oh, okay. What if they made this is just speculation. Henry Cavill, Dr. Doom. They brought him in his evil stash as Dr. Doom.
I think Henry Cavill would make an excellent Victor Von.
His
would be sick.
Some of his slate opened up, but the question is, how much is he going to be doing in Warhammer? Because he's going to be acting in it, but it looks like they also are giving him heavy creative control.
Yeah.
Here's another one that would be sick. Adam Driver as Dr. Doom.
He can do it.
That could be good.
He can do it.
He plays a fucking psychopath. Like when he starts screaming, like,
I tell you what though,
he looks a methodical fucker
because he was a soldier. He looks legit in that Jurassic movie that's come 63 or whatever it is. There we go. That's
and here's the third one that they're saying is a possibility, and they just signed him to Marvel too, but they didn't say what role. Denzel Washington.
Oh.
That could be an interesting pick.
I'd be fine with that.
Who would you put?
I would too, because
he's a phenomenal actor, but where do you put Denzel Washington?
Well, that's a role like this because he can play methodical because Dr. Doom is one of those most methodical, well-spoken,
and he
villains.
does wear a suit all the time, so they can easily have someone else in the suit, and they Iron Man his face, where like they just show his face while he's in the suit for his talking scenes, like they did with Robert Downey. So his physicality of it is limited.
Right,
because Doom almost never takes the fucking mask
but
off.
it's the acting that you would need behind the mask.
Yeah,
like a Mandalorian, like a Pasquale.
Yeah,
you see what I did there, right? Yeah, either one of those, I'm with, but I would fancy Adam Driver. I think
he's young enough as well.
He's
the thing
young
with
enough,
Denzel is
and he has enough range.
You start aging up
Henry would
the
have
Fantastic Four too much, and then it starts becoming, well, where the fuck were they?
I'd want to see them both in the suit because I know Henry has the physique for it.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying.
But they can create a suit. They can create muscles.
Don't waste Henry Cavill's physique and face behind a mask. Give him a role where you can see him. You know what would be even better than that is say fuck Marvel, fuck DC, make him Omni-Man.
Ooh.
Bring that stash over to Omni-Man. Make an Invincible movie.
Are they making a live action?
I don't know, but
not that I'm aware of.
He would kill that role.
It's so good animated.
He would kill that role.
He would.
Yeah.
He would.
That would be hilarious if his next role, it's all about him having the stash after everything that happened with DC.
I say you gotta go full stash. The other one that they were talking about is Captain Britain.
Yeah,
but
we know Henry's going to be a space marine in Warhammer 40,000. He has to be.
I'm looking forward to
a high-ranking space.
Have you ever played Warhammer?
Yes, I played a lot of the classic Warhammer, like not the 40,000, not the space and stuff. I played the Warhammer where it's like you're leading
such an intricate game. Me and my brother played a lot of intricate games like that. HeroScape was another one.
Warhammer 3's out now. And supposedly it's fantastic.
Really? Well, see, you guys are not even on the same page here. Nelson's talking about the tabletop game. You're talking about the video game.
I'm talking about the actual,
oh no, I'm talking about the tabletop game.
Yeah, you gotta break out like rulers and shit.
And you gotta paint them bitches. Oh, wow. And you're like, wait, I can see a line of sight. Motherfuckers is breaking out like laser lights. Like I can see you. They're like, no, my shoulder is being hidden by the tree. That no. It's a pretty outrageously hard game to play.
Yeah,
but a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and the piece that
imagine
passionate.
Imagine taking chess but opening up the battlefield almost like D&D, where everything is open and possible because everything is quite literally you're moving and you're measuring with a tape measure. Like, oh, I could go to here, I could do to this, and people would build the landscape that they would fight on. Mountains and trees, the whole 9 yards, so that like it was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, Warhammer, especially Warhammer 3, I've been watching some of it online, and like it looks fantastic. You pick different factions. Supposedly there's over 270 factions on a battlefield at once.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're all vying for control, and as the turns go on, you see the number starts to get lower. Because people get conquered, people form confederacies.
Sure.
And like the battle, like you can lead anything from like a small unit of goblins to like one unit of a giant two-headed dragon.
Yes.
Like, and it's insane because you like as the battle moves, you're moving each troop. Like you're in charge of every unit. Like and like you have to adapt sometimes mid-battle to like, okay, well this army's going around this hill, so you have to detach this unit to intercept them. It looks insane.
Well,
like, it looks great.
It's very similar to the tabletop playing. So essentially for like a tabletop game, let's say HeroClix, for example, what they would do is they would give you a starting points for percentage. So let's say you say, all right, each player has 300 points.
Right.
And then you can make your team
Your Superman
based off of those 300
could be
points.
300 points.
Right.
So or you could walk in with like 5 or 6 guys
Right.
that are like 50 points, 60 points apiece.
So essentially your army is based off of the power level of the character. So you can spend it all on one. Be this one guy, one move, or you can have a small little army that you want to fight with.
It's the same thing with Warhammer. There's a piece I seen recently, Warbringer Titan. It's a $2,000 piece for the game to play Warhammer on the table. It's a big boy.
Yeah.
But it's like, here's my army.
Douche.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, but you spend that money on it, you better believe you playing with that motherfucker at the game.
And it's like,
at
you
the
need
table.
also, when you buy them, you got to paint them because they come just slate gray. And you got to build it, you got to paint it, and that's part of like the fun of the game is like I'm making my army mine. These are my colors, my layout design, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's part of the community. And for every unskilled painter out there, there's somebody willing to be paid and paint it for you. And you know, it's a lot of fun, but it's also one of those hobbies that require a lot of money and a lot of time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm completely confident with Henry involved with the project, and I think as much as he does with the acting, I think they should give him as much creative control as possible. Because if they would have stuck him and kept him on the helm with the Netflix Witcher stuff, we wouldn't be dealing with the pile of shit we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
And leaning back into Henry being a villain in the MCU, there was actual speculation too that his character, his role in Warhammer would not be of a hero but of a villain.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, so
the villains are very important. They make the movie good or bad. A bad villain will destroy a movie versus a good villain. The heroes are usually not necessarily as entertaining as the villain, and additionally, the villains usually spend less time on screen.
Who's the guy from Zombieland?
Than the heroes do.
The guy from Zombieland that played Lex Luthor that sucked ass.
Oh,
what was his name? Andy,
Warhol.
Oh my God, no. He was in Zombieland. He played the guy from Facebook. He played Mark Zuckerberg in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, Woody Allen.
No,
might as well be. No, I know.
He was fucking terrible. He had hair the whole movie.
He's an interesting guy, and I wonder what he would have done if he was allowed to do more. Because his attempt was to be like, here is his public face, and then privately is when you get Lex Luthor.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah. So it would have been
Horrible
interesting
job.
to see if he got to do more. It's the same thing I say with Jared Leto, where it would have been interesting if we would have got them to do more of what they were attempting to do, but how much, like, those movies were like reshooting half the movie when they were done, where it's like everything is hitting the cutting room floor. What is left of what was originally on the script? What was left of the original portrayal? I mean, they're telling so much story that they got 2 movies and then they're squeezing it down to 1, and characters are like 2 minutes out of like an hour that they recorded.
You mean like Avatar: The Last Airbender? Let's stick 13 chapters into one movie. Like, what the fuck? M. Night Shyamalan, my ding dong.
Jesse Eisenberg was to Lex Luthor what that kid was to Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3.
I hated his depiction of
Topher
Lex.
Grace?
Yeah,
Lex Luthor.
yeah, whatever his name was, the fucking guy, small ass Eddie Brock. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys.
Eddie Brock is gigantic.
Who do you think would be the worst Doctor Doom? Like, if you had to pick one person that you would be, and I'm gonna start this one off.
Dave Chappelle.
Ooh, Dave Chappelle would be a shitty Doctor Doom. Eddie, go ahead.
This is either the best pick or the worst pick. Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
I like that.
My man swings for the fences in every single role. He would either crush it or crush it.
Yeah.
How about
crushed?
How about Howard Stern as Doctor Doom?
Oh my god.
Oh, but going back to Nicolas Cage, he said,
Kanye
unfortunately,
Kanye West is Doctor Doom.
Kanye West is the worst Kanye West.
The mask comes off. The mask comes off, and it's fucking Kanye.
Like, oh my god! I think people would run, not walk, run out of the movie theater. They're like, I give up on MCU. I'm going back to DC.
I'd see it twice.
Bring me Black Adam 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Go back to DC. To what? To what? What are you gonna flee to?
Give me
a
Morbius.
Burning ship?
Give me
nothing
Morbius.
to flee to.
It's Morbid time.
You're stuck. It's Morbid.
It's Morbid time. I'm out of here.
The fucking worst.
No.
The absolute worst.
With Nicolas Cage, he actually said that he will not play in the Star Wars universe because
he's a Trekkie.
He belongs to the Star Trek universe.
And
thank you for finishing my sentences, Edward.
He is a huge geek. He's bought dinosaurs. He's spent millions of dollars on first edition comic books. He is like Henry Cavill in terms of like
Cavill.
Collecting and geekdom. He really is.
Yeah, well, someone needs to help Nick with his money because he's been acting in some of the worst shit ever.
Yeah.
I think he's finally coming out of that though. I hope.
Yeah, I think so, but we'll see.
I doubt it. I
hope he's not
coming
working.
out of
I
it
hope he's not
because
working because of his collection addiction.
he might be. But, good for
unfortunate.
him. But it still would have been funny, even if it was just like a small cameo, him in a Mandalorian outfit, just with Pedro Pascal, you know what I mean? Like, that would have been kind of cool to see.
I like Ed's pick though because I'm kind of fine with Nicolas Cage in anything.
Yeah.
Anything. I don't care where he should.
Nick
Cage.
It's amazing how well he can do in some roles.
He's like Samuel L. Jackson.
You guys are forgetting.
Shows up, you're not mad.
You guys are forgetting the Ghost Rider. I'm going to forgive you.
I'm definitely not forgetting the Ghost Rider.
No one's forgetting that. No one.
But that's the point of him.
So bad.
Sometimes he's phenomenal, and sometimes you can still say phenomenal, but whatever you add to phenomenal afterwards.
Like phenomenal piece of shit. Yeah. No, but I love Nick Cage as a person, as an actor. And so like he's kind of like The Rock to me. Like I like The Rock in everything he does. So I can sit through a bad performance and be like, you know what? It's still The Rock. It was okay.
Yeah.
They have star power like that. Nicolas Cage is one of those actors who has that kind of star power where you're like, you know what? I just like something about Nick Cage.
He's one of the few.
And I can sit through
he's one of the
this.
few people where you see he's in a thing and you're like, I might watch it just for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rock, it kind of lost that on me though. Like now I see him as The Rock, and it's like, oh, he's still The Rock.
And
in
now
every role.
is that because
Every
of
role.
too much Rock? Like the last 2 years,
He was in everything.
In
He
every
was-
role,
he was
TV
everywhere.
shows.
Yeah, you couldn't look anywhere
You
without
couldn't
seeing
get
him.
away from him. So
No.
sometimes there's an overload.
Yeah,
of things.
there needs to be a higher level of discretion in picking his roles, I think.
But you know what?
It's
Can
not-
you stop
it's-
him? Can you
it's-
blame him for
it's
making
not
that
like
money?
anything has been so terribly bad.
No.
But it's a level of you're everywhere.
Yep. Kevin Hart did the same thing, I think.
Yeah.
Some would say like Kevin Hart came out the gate swinging, hilarious, loved everything he was in.
And then he started following The Rock around though. He's like,
And he's like, I'm going to do what you do. I'm going to make all that money and I'm going to stack and put it away.
when he started making a tequila, I started laughing.
Hey,
I was
listen.
like, I ain't drinking that tequila.
Yeah.
I ain't drinking that tequila.
No.
Supposedly his tequila's pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Terramana wasn't bad, so
From
No, well, they're going to invest their money into something that they believe is going to be successful.
Why does everybody make a fucking tequila? Because then Jorge Masvidal did the
I
same thing.
think
I don't know.
that
There's
I
probably
think the thing
money
is
in it.
tequila's pretty easy to make
And
in
cheap,
terms,
probably.
in terms of like getting up and running. Where like a whiskey, like you make it, you got to bottle it, then you got to barrel it before you can even bottle it for X number of years to properly label it. Same thing with certain spirits, where like tequila, I don't think you have to barrel it for a particularly long amount of time.
Yeah.
So you can turn it over in a year and put something on the shelf. Same thing with vodka. You can have it turned over in a year and put it on the shelf. Where whiskey, you got a minimum barrel for like 2-3 years
Before you start making a profit.
before you're allowed to sell. So like you'll see a lot of places. Guys I watch, a Whiskey Tribe, they're on YouTube. They make their own whiskey, and one of the first things they released was a gin and a vodka because you can make it and turn it around quickly. So you can make the batch, have it checked,
Right.
put it in a bottle, and you're sending it off 2-3 months later versus the
Right.
whiskey they were trying to make.
You just need some potatoes,
They
a
had,
toilet, and time.
they had to wait and put it in a barrel for X number of years for it to pass being called a whiskey.
Got it. All right. Otherwise, it's just what? Toilet?
Hooch.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's illegal to sell for some ways, or you have to label it differently, and the flavor ends up being too young, and it ends up being very harsh, and no one's gonna.
And that's moonshining for you.
Only it becomes kind of considered moon, and you can buy some things where it's barreled for like 30 seconds, and as long as it's barreled, it can be considered for sale. But then the way it gets labeled becomes very weird, so it becomes like you're not aging it enough for the flavor to be there properly.
That corn liquor they'd run cars on. Like,
Yeah.
outrun the police.
Jesus.
And they say white people have no culture.
Yeah. So what's the other trailer that we seen with Joaquin Phoenix? What was the name of that movie?
Beau is afraid.
Beau is afraid.
That looks like an acid trip.
The first half of it, I was like, no, thank you. The second half of the trailer, I was like,
Yeah.
this looks fucking odd.
Now, is it a horror movie?
It's
don't know.
weird.
They said like the two movies they mentioned, one Midsommar and the other one Hereditary, both from the same creator. Very disturbing horror movies.
They
Well, it
definitely,
did look
Very,
disturbing.
very
right?
disturbing.
It did look
but
disturbing.
it looked
from
like
the
it was
trailer.
much more of a mental thing
Yes.
than which I'm all aboard for. Like I said, that style of movie, that's great. I'm not a fan of when they just do gore for the sake of trying to scare people.
Well,
so this looked very disturbing in terms of like what may be going on plausibly in his head or the world around him.
Midsommar is like it's more trippy and like it's European. Like there's some stuff that goes on. It's like more like you're seeing crazy shit and it's a mind fuck. Hereditary, that movie will mess you up. Like if you watch that, that's a really fucking disturbing horror movie.
Really.
So for those of you that know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But the movie Hereditary, watch it if you feel like ruining a good mood. I mean, that's up there.
So
That's a bad
do you
movie.
think it's gonna be more like like The Northman, like the movie's kind of like a bad trip that you're watching going on.
Some of the scenes, like some of the scenes look really disturbing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like you mentioned
mean,
something
it was
as schizophrenic. It might be like
that's what it looks like, almost
or,
like he's schizophrenic, where it's transitioning between live action to cartoonish looking, and
he's
all
like
kinds
he's like
of other
calling his
things.
mom and afraid to leave the house, and then all of a sudden he was in a cartoon land.
Yeah.
He was in a
feels
different
like-
planet.
Then he's like running through what looks like an apocalypse, and he wakes
Yeah.
up like after being hit by a car.
yeah.
And
So we're
It looks like the Joker meets A Beautiful Mind, like somewhere,
Somewhere
in between there.
also looks like Joaquin gained a little weight for the role.
He did, because he had to lose a shit ton of weight for the Joker.
Yeah.
He did. He looked horrible.
He
in the
looked
Joker.
almost on like death's door.
Yeah.
But you know what? Joaquin Phoenix has kind of cornered the market on mentally disturbed performances.
Yes.
From Her to Gladiator to the Joker to now what this movie could potentially be.
He played Johnny Cash too.
I mean, considering
Johnny Cash was a master.
considering
class.
how
Johnny
much he
Cash.
In
throws
acting.
of himself into the role, it's nice to still see him around, because sometimes you're watching him in the role, you're like, he has to be going home with some of this.
Yeah.
Like, there's a level of like, I hope someone is watching this poor man, because
well, his brother.
there's a little too much being thrown into this role.
His brother River had mental issues, and I mean, I'll double check here. I think his brother may have committed suicide, but I'll double
Really?
check here. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was that
So
other movie.
it's in the family.
I forget the name of it, where it was supposed to be like a fake documentary.
Oh, where he was a rapper?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like his career was failing, and he was miserable, and it was just this weird watch of a movie. And it was at the height of his popularity, because it just came off
and he
of
like
Gladiator.
and he like dips out of acting for like 3 years to do this weird thing.
It was like some pseudo film, but it was odd enough that like it kept my attention. But I'm like, the whole time I'm thinking, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
Am I watching a man like in his decline being recorded, and everybody around him is just like, fuck it, we're recording it.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It really is.
And his interviews are odd too. Like
Yeah.
if you go back on like YouTube and watch some of Joaquin Phoenix's interviews
Yeah.
On those late night shows, it's hard to tell whether he's playing or if he's just really that person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, his brother OD'd and died. Joaquin was right there. Joaquin's the one that called 911. So yeah, there's some shit. There's some stuff there
There's
to
some
unpack.
lingering shit there.
And he's an out there guy. I mean, if you watch after he won his Oscar for the Joker, if you watch his speech, you can tell there's some things going on behind those eyes. I mean, it's you know,
but it's
a lot of the best actors are a little.
That's what I was gonna say. Some of the best
AC/DC,
musicians,
something going on there.
some of the best actors. There's some real life trauma that bleeds into what they do that makes it so excellent.
Yeah.
But you also feel for the person at the end of
I
the
mean,
day.
Marlon Brando, he's like one of the greatest actors of all time.
Yeah.
In real life, he's a fucked up human being. He lived on an island. He had servants. He was a screwed up dude. I mean,
the guy from Mrs. Doubtfire. What's his name?
No.
I'm not doing it. I won't say his name. I'm not doing it.
Now talking about things that are fucked up. Wizards of the Coast at Hasbro.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Ed. Thank you.
I was trying to lead
Come on.
They've been
Let 'em
slowly dying. They lost like they went down like 40% in revenue in a year.
Because they're trying to take people's money.
So Wizards
Creators'
of the
money.
Coast, known for Magic the Gathering, they own trading card games.
If you love a trading card game, they've gone after
They
Yes.
own that patent, and they have shut down many a game that we've picked up and started playing. You find out it's not being made anymore because they bought them or they fucking sue them into oblivion.
So basically, if trading card games are the rivers of Europe, Wizards of the Coast are the Vikings.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, got it.
Yeah.
Just raiding,
Yes,
and pillaging
So-
people's
Yep.
creativity.
They did merge with Hasbro, and because of that, they do also own Dungeons and Dragons. So
Those are some big labels.
coming hot
going
off
out
the
there.
heels of them selling $1,000 packs for their 30th anniversary of Magic the Gathering, packs of cards that were not legal for gameplay, and packs of cards that game stores were not allowed to sell, so you had to buy them directly through Wizards. Great marketing. The fans loved it. They're trying to change their open license for Dungeons and Dragons so they can make it where they own your creative property that you made off of Dungeons and Dragons, and you have to pay them, and you have to label it, and you have to give them royalties, and they can essentially change the contract on you at any point in time with 30 days notice.
Sounds like a pretty good way to kill any desire to use their product.
Yeah. Do you think they're gonna go after Stranger Things? You guys play Dungeons and Dragons for 30 seconds in the beginning of your opening scene.
That's
right. Want some all the proceeds from the season 3.
Yeah.
All of them.
At this point, everybody up the chain, including the guys and girls from Critical Role, who is the biggest Dungeons and Dragons property out there.
Please don't cancel Voxmax.
That's what I was going to... Yeah, they could essentially shut them down if they go and sue them.
Because they're going to... It's their property. They can force it through. But Critical Role has even spoke up, it's like... Hey, we back all of the creators that are against this, that are looking for, another IP or whatever to come up and kind of replace. And I don't know what Wizards and Hasbro is thinking, because if they do force this through, I'm sure there are going to be a few people that stick around if you're under whatever their monetary cap is.
Yeah.
But big boys like Critical Role and stuff, they are strong enough that wherever they go, the crowd is going to follow. And if they honestly wanted to, they could probably make their own IP and run it off of that, and people are going to follow.
I'm pretty sure that with the development of what's going on with Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, that there are already big companies already thinking this right now. I'm sure Critical Role is thinking like, well, if they're going to fuck all of the people that have been enjoying this game and playing it for a long time, let's do our own thing.
I mean, there's Pathfinder that's out there, which they could easily jump onto there. There's dozens of other...
Pathfinder's never been as good, though.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be as good. They just need to have the proper open gaming license.
Wasn't Pathfinder a movie where the Native American guy fights the Vikings?
Isn't it a failed vehicle?
Because here's the thing. They could easily...
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Just like D&D every few years puts out a new rule book... They could be like, we're moving on to Pathfinder. We're working with them to make a new version of the game to be more compatible with the way we try to tell stories.
Yeah.
And in a year or two, put out a new book, and they can easily debut it on their next season of Critical Role. And then Dungeons and Dragons goes down the shitter even faster.
I just think that they'll probably choose to go with something new versus something... like a piece of shit and then polish it. You know what I mean? Like a polished piece of shit is still a polished piece of shit. I think if they would
at the end of the day, it's still shit.
It's still shit. Yeah, I think they're gonna go
how
with,
shiny the exterior is.
I would be surprised if they did, but I would think that it would be in everybody's best interest to lean into something different, a new name, a new something to bring to light.
And another thing is, a lot of these creators, they all know each other.
Sure.
They all go back and forth on each other's shows. They all work on each other's properties. So it wouldn't even necessarily be just Critical Role. It could easily be 4 or 5 of the top YouTube channels that work on D&D inspired gaming.
Sure.
Yeah.
Easily getting together and making their own thing.
Yeah. Well, we're actually coming up with our own game. R&R. So yeah, on the spot, you heard it here first. Yeah, we're making R&R, which stands for what, Ian?
I don't want to say it. I really don't want to say it. Something popped into my head, and I was like, I do care somewhat about
No, don't do it. Don't
you know what I was gonna say.
There are levels.
You at least knew one of the R's.
I have it in mind. Yes.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, but the card design is gonna be out of this world. Trust me.
It definitely is. It's gonna be ripped open.
Yeah, we got some good artists. There's some good artists involved in this.
Rolling off the tongue.
That's right. Yes. Oh man.
Woo. But it's
where do you see the expansion packs? Holy shit!
It's amazing how poorly
I don't want to see them
going for Wizards and Hasbro right now.
Sure.
I mean, it is looking bad out there on everywhere that you're looking. And some of these shows, they're on hiatus right now because their season ended. But when it comes back, if Wizards doesn't do something to undo this or support the community,
it's gonna die quick.
Yeah, because they got no reason. If they try to force this through, they got no reason to stick around. They're talking about they want 25% royalties
of creator stuff when it hits a certain
creator stuff,
ridiculous.
And they're gonna
but that's
own.
If they're making over $750,000,
and they're gonna own their
property.
But here's the thing:
but if you worked your ass off to make, I mean, do they know how much it probably
the amount of work you had to put where you're making that much money?
Taxes. Taxes. Every time I look at my taxes at the end of the year and I look at that number,
Taxation is theft.
How much they took, I'm like, Jeff Bezos didn't pay shit. Why am I paying for him?
Jeff Bezos is a great man.
For instance, here's the thing, like,
but I love Amazon. Please keep delivering my packages.
Exactly.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah,
like Critical Role is making that much money, but what you're not seeing is like they showed stuff behind the scenes. I mean, you got all the cameramen, you got all the writers, you got all the people that make the figures, build the sets, write the stories. It's not just the 6 or 7 people on camera. It's a 30-person crew.
Did Wizards of the Coast
So
make
now
that
you're going to say,
magazine?
hey, that giant crew, we need you to give us 25% of what you made, but now keep running the way you were running that was making fans.
Sure.
Shit.
It's taxation, brother.
It's a bad business model.
I mean,
It's bad.
Apple steals 30% off the top of anything you do in their app store.
But Apple's been doing it from day
But
one.
Apple also...
Apple also has an army of slave children in China that are jumping out windows.
That disclosure that you're just scrolling through.
Build iPhone.
So I can use my phone.
Apple is also at least providing the platform. They're providing the store. They're providing security. They're providing updates. They're making sure that the stuff that's in there is safe for the users, etc., etc., etc. D&D is providing the rule book that was written 30 plus years ago that they barely update every now and then.
Yeah.
Right now, Steve Jobs is on his fucking throne made of children's skulls and hell. He's looking up. Stop talking about us.
Now, other things doing poorly in news. Velma, the Scooby-Doo show without Scooby-Doo.
Oh, God. Come on.
Right, yeah.
Why would you do that? Why?
I thought we were going to end on a high note.
No.
I want to make sure
We're going to end on the bastardization of
we
Scooby-Doo.
drive this as far down as possible.
So
Yeah.
we watched the trailer, right? And
If you want to call it that.
That was the first time I think the three of us sat in a room and watched something in silence.
Nobody talked.
I had half a chuckle
At
on
one joke.
from
Asian,
Fred,
Asian Daphne? Yeah, that was good.
and that was about it. Ugh.
Asian Daphne, was it
So,
Black,
I mean,
Black Shaggy?
It looks like woke BS.
Oh,
It
yeah.
looks like they are taking an IP that we loved as kids and dragging it through the mud. It doesn't look savable from the trailer.
They should have.
Enjoy your one season.
They should have taken the inspiration
Yeah.
from the show. They could have easily had it in the universe, but a different group of kids who might have been like a branch of their friends or something else. And they could have kept it in that universe and then gone off from there. But it really should have just been its own thing.
There's also one key element missing from the show. Where the
Scooby-Doo!
fuck is Scooby?
Yeah.
Why?
They removed Scooby because they said it would remind people too much of Scooby-Doo.
Which is what the show is based on. It makes no sense.
It's so fucking dumb. And then they take the person from what it looks like from the trailer who is supposed to be the person that gets the most high.
Yeah.
Like the king of like Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, they made the clearly stoner character black. That's not a racist thing.
Of course not.
They made the white guy super
Stereotypically white.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
be fair, he's always been that way.
The
To be fair.
Fred's a fucking G.
Fred's
though.
always been Fred.
Fred has always been a G. Fred
Yeah.
just shows up. He
Daph-
goes, "You guys go risk your lives and solve this mystery. Me and Daphne are gonna go check out the."
Listen,
we know what
if
Fred's
I was in a
doing.
haunted
Hey.
house, I'm pulling a Fred.
The
Yeah,
I'm
character,
pulling a Fred.
the
I'm not pulling a
character who knew
Scooby.
karate, Daphne, now absolutely has to be at least half Asian because she knew karate.
Because
I mean,
all Asian people can fight.
it's supposed
Well,
to be
that's not
woke, but
racist.
some of their moves are super racist. Some
Yeah.
of the things that they kind of did and changed.
Yeah, and Daphne is her real job is IT. I mean, that is fuck.
So I guess HBO. I guess HBO is just stealing pages out of Netflix books.
I haven't sat down
You
to
know?
watch it, but
It's like we can't come up with our own universe or our own creative characters, so we'll
Correct.
steal from this LP.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're gonna run into the ground.
The
Enjoy
re-
your one
Shit.
season.
The-
Enjoy your one
the
fucking
reviews-
season. Enjoy
the
it.
reviews I've seen from it, only kind of the more woke media places are giving it praise. Everywhere else, from people who are not backed by some form of media,
You know,
are
independent, free-thinking humans.
shitting
Yeah.
on it crazy hard.
Yeah.
Now,
Well-
if you are a fan of Scooby-Doo, and
Don't
you
watch
would
it.
like to see a property that's inspired by the material and is done well, there's a live action on YouTube, Mystery Incorporated. They only have one episode out. Absolutely worth the one episode watch. It's a nice reimagining of the world, and it takes all of the elements from the cartoons, and they do mix them up, and they do manage to put them in there.
Mystery
and
Incorporated?
It's Mystery Incorporated. It's all funded.
Just found it. 3.1 million views.
all-
Looks like it's doing pretty good.
It's all funded by fans, and they're trying to fund to do more episodes. Fantastic. Worth the watch.
Listen,
Thelma,
pretty shit.
the
Pretty shit.
ratio's not looking good if you're a fan of Thelma.
If you want to see,
I enjoy watching it burn, though. It is nice.
as brown man, I do want to see some more brown people on the big screen, and that but you could put them in their own world.
But you're
and
like
do
salsa brown. This
new
is like
things. Yeah. No, that's
body brown.
That's
It's a different type of brown.
yeah, it's a different type of brown. But like
Still brown.
Like there are shows like Reservation Dogs on Fox, which
Yes.
is based on
That's
Native
also brown, but
Americans.
that's Wawa brown.
Yes, it is. That's like the store Wawa.
I love
brown.
being able to say this shit with you guys sitting
Oh
here.
no, absolutely.
If it was just me up here, I couldn't say any of this shit.
Listen,
be
it's all
coming
love.
for
It's
me.
all love. But the show is hilarious. It's based off of their living, their lifestyle, and it's not taking from anything else. So I can sit down, I
Other
can
than the
enjoy
title
the
from
show.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Reservation Dogs.
Reservation Dogs.
Okay, not Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, not
My
Reservoir
apologies.
Dogs. Yeah, bro.
I apologize to the Native American people. I apologize.
Fantastic, hilarious.
You don't live near reservoirs.
Worth the watch. Even like Miss Marvel, which some of us didn't quite enjoy.
Didn't hate it. Just
Didn't
wasn't
hate
my
it.
cup
But
of
if you
tea.
go watch it, it's like it's based on their culture, her style. Like you can enjoy it for that, and you could see like, this is something fresh, something new. But they didn't steal from something else.
No, it was a
bring it
completely-
over and then regurgitate it out in a way that we're just supposed to say, I love this.
And that's another thing that's because the character Kamala was made that way.
Yeah.
It wasn't a character where they tried to change the race to shoehorn it into a role that was already there. They're like, we want to make a new character. You want this character to be of Indian descent. So to do that properly, we have to start over.
Sure.
We have to make a new character.
Sure.
Yeah, it just
And it's like it's not like Mindy Kaling's not a funny person.
No.
She's a funny person. I can absolutely see her doing a good show. Just make it a new show.
Yeah.
You don't need the IP behind it. You yourself are a known person who's well enough known that I can see making a show and doing well.
Right.
Why are we trying to bastardize an IP versus just making a new one?
Because lack of creativity and attempt to grab money. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I do want to give a shout out, though, to Michelle Yeoh, because she did win a Golden Globe the other
Yes.
night
Fuck
for
yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once, which will hopefully erase the stain of Witcher Blood Origin from her dress.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And you know what?
And
though?
I hope I'm glad she did that.
Actually,
because-
someone from Black Panther won an award as well, and it's the first time anyone from Marvel, the one who played the mother, what's her name?
Angela Bassett.
Angela
Yes.
Bassett. She killed it, though.
She won.
She was the best. She was the best actress in that movie.
Angela
By far.
Bassett
Phenomenal
was
role there.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Her when she was talking about what she had sacrificed for her
you
country
can feel
in
her
the
pain.
throne room, I was like, God damn, like
Bro.
that was the one part of the movie I was like moving back in my seat. I was like,
Bro,
whoa.
when she's like, "Have I not given enough?"
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
My
like,
husband, my son. I was like, God
I'm
damn.
like, she did.
Oh
She
shit.
totally did.
I was like, you're right.
She totally
You're
did.
right. Like, holy hell. All hail the queen. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I think that's what they were aiming for. I think a little bit with the Eternals was to try to raise the level
Of acting.
of
in the-
acting within it by trying to allow it to move a little further outside of the comic genre.
They threw everybody in
They
it.
didn't hit the mark with
No.
Eternals, but definitely Angela Bassett in Black
yeah.
Panther. I mean, she deserved the award.
Yeah.
She put the bar a little higher.
I think for
She's
the
like, all right,
for the
guys,
Eternals,
step it up.
Yeah.
Like,
for the Eternals, it just was the wrong script. It was the wrong story.
too long and not enough going on.
And it felt forced.
It was robots fucking through time.
Marvel has so many great teams,
Essentially.
and so many great stories that they really. I know they were hoping for another Guardians of the Galaxy. Is really what it
Yeah,
was.
but
It's
without
an
that color and
unknown-
humor and soundtrack, you're not going to get it. And where was James Gunn? Where was he? He wasn't.
Yeah.
anywhere.
He's too
wasn't-
busy formulating a plan to destroy the DC universe single-handedly.
Well, if he's creating it, I'm excited to see
I'm
what he
in.
does.
I'm in. 100%.
I just can't believe he kept. I mean,
Yeah.
supposedly the plan is they're going to keep fucking Ezra around.
Well,
Why?
they just have to.
It's something to do
get
with
it
with the executives.
He knows something.
It's
Ezra knows
something with
something.
the executives. They won't
Yeah.
let that Ezra property go away for some
Why?
reason.
I don't know.
I
the
don't.
weakest one,
I
possibly.
don't know what it is, but I'm
Yeah.
sure when the emails leak, we're all gonna go, "Oh,
Something's
that's
gonna
what
come out."
happened."
How about this? If any of you out there, how about this? Let's ask the world.
All right.
How about this? If any of you out there are excited about Ezra Miller as the Flash, please leave it in a comment. Let us know why. Why? Why the fuck?
I want to see what kind of a shit show this is.
Do you think
that's
he's fast?
the only reason. That's the only reason I want to see it.
I am only excited because they are fighting so hard to keep this movie. It must be the best movie ever.
That's what they said on Black Adam.
What is going on that they're
Don't
fighting
you shit on the Rock
so hard?
You take it back right now.
Hey, Rock,
movie.
come here. I got some shit for you.
You put your pants back on.
Lay down, Rock. I'll show you a Black Adam.
That's a stinky one. And on that note,
yeah, might as well.
Thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom podcast, where Ian shits on everyone, apparently.
Absolutely.
You can find us on all your social media platforms at
Sofa Kingdom OFC.
You can find us on YouTube at
Sofa Kingdom Podcast.
Ian, take us away.
Listen, hopefully you followed my assignment for the past couple of weeks of forcing people to listen to us against their will. Now, I want you, like every good cult, to take it to a new level. After you have forced them to watch us or listen to us, you must quiz them on it.
Yes.
Quiz them 5 questions a week, 1 a day, and if they get them wrong by Friday, end that relationship.
Terminate
Terminate it. I don't care if it's your brother. I don't care if it's your spouse. Terminate it.
That's right.
They're not worth
Excommunicate whoever is not listening
That's
to the
right.
podcast.
Absolutely.
They're not worth having in your life.
for you. We are good for you. That's how we build a fan base.
I like that, man.
Drink
That's
the
way to do
Kool-Aid.
it, man.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Drink it all. But don't jump off the building. Or do.
We'll push you. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. I like that. So Wizards of the Coast, they did do that Wizard magazine that was done?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. I actually used to listen to that.